Hi, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, the Too Opinionated podcast could really use your help. And it's easy, it's free. IMDb, which is the entertainment database, imdb.com, named us a top 100 podcast. We came in at number 82. That's a big deal because there's 15 million podcasts and growing. So to be named to anybody's top 100 list, pretty big deal for us. And the way you can help is to go to imdb.com, look up the Too Opinionated podcast, and that's it. Just bringing our page up. That traffic really helps us out. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. All we ask is that you subscribe. It's also free, but that really helps us to attract these amazing guests that we keep bringing on the program. And that's it. 2 easy ways for you to support us, and we would really appreciate the help. Now let's get to that interview. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated. I'm so excited today. I get to welcome one of my good friends, author David Banks. So welcome, David.
Heck yes, I am here. I'm so happy to be here. Like, I wrote a book. Actually, I bought a shirt off Amazon that says published author. I love that. It's my favorite shirt now.
Good for you, man. So we work together in call centers. You know, I think we started at Ticketmaster together. You know, it worked there together. Yep. And then didn't you come up on the Corridor G with me up at?
I did.
What was that? Was that Verizon or Frontier we were working?
Well, AT&T, I believe.
AT&T, that's it.
And I was on the other side of the center. Yeah. But I did work Verizon. I did work Frontier. And I actually even worked DirecTV.
Oh, you did?
After AT&T bought it.
Oh, I was probably gone by that time, wasn't I?
You were on your way to a hospital.
Yeah. That's what I thought. Yeah, I switched to the. Well, you know, AT&T came in and bought that out, and they pushed out any of us that made any type of money. So then I switched over to the hospital.
Unfortunately, I got to stay, but they actually, out of the 725 agents they had working the phones, I was number 4.
I have no doubt. You were outstanding on the phones. You knew what you were doing.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah. You were terrific. Well, let's start this.
And I got to do a lot of different things when I worked for DirecTV. I kind of hit a little bit of every department.
Oh yeah, well that's kind of how it works. You usually start out in billing and then move up to sales and retention. You know, get all that
Absolutely.
stuff in. Well, so David, let's start this way.
Sure.
I'm so happy that both of us are out of the call centers now, and nothing against the people. The people were great. The work wasn't the best.
No. It was good to have people around that made it worth it.
That's right. The people were great.
So you had to find a reason to be there.
Yeah.
So
that's
it was
exactly
so
right.
nice to have people around me that I could be friends with.
Yeah.
That I could play Dungeons and Dragons with, or whatever the case worked out to be. Well, I was happy to be there.
So you were telling me a little bit off camera about how your writing started, but talk a little bit about that, because you came to it a little bit late. You know, talk a little bit about what kind of inspired you to start writing, and how did you go about it?
Well, so in December of 22, I had a stroke.
Yep.
And it has debilitated me in ways that I never dreamed I would have to go through. But before we leave this world, we really don't know what we'll have to go through.
No idea.
That was a big motivation for me. And my wife, who is absolutely perfect in every way.
I told you off camera, you've outkicked your coverage.
I have. I have. Like with her, I have. Everybody else was miserable, but she is perfect in every way. But like I have just come to the point to where I can't hunt and peck on my laptop.
Yeah.
So I wrote a book on my phone
That just
with my
amazes me that you're able to
I
do it on a phone.
and like I wrote a book on Google Docs, and I completely knew where I was at the whole time. I didn't have to fish around for ideas on the book. They all just came to me.
Amazing.
And so all these twists and turns that the books take, I was completely fine with, and I wrote through them. There wasn't really, I was a bad insomniac, and I still am a bit. But I mean, I would write 8, 9 hours, and it was always overnight. Then I'd write into the next day before I really got to fall asleep.
I mean, do you think if you had not had the stroke where it kind of forced you to be stationary, would you have written?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it has allowed me to really go down into that creative part of my brain, which is sometimes dark. There's a darkness that I walk through
Yeah.
that I never really dealt with. And I won't go into the balls and strikes of it all.
Yeah.
Thank you to my father who's gone. Thanks and thanks for leaving. But he was a terrible dad.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I
a
have
lot of a
a
lot of tragedy or difficult childhoods lead to creativity. It's not,
sure.
I don't recommend it. If you can avoid it, I'd avoid it. But it does sometimes. It
And
kind of
I can
forces
ride
you.
around with it scene.
Yeah.
Like I do. I mean, there are times when I visit there, but I don't stay.
Yeah.
I just, but like the book that I've written is called The Meeting of the Five, Convergence.
I know.
And the
I
five
love the
are made
title.
up.
The title catches
Yeah,
you. You hear the title and you're like, okay, I'm kind of interested to see what that's about.
it's been that way since high school. But
Really?
like I have thought of this book since high school. I'm 54 now, and I've been batting this book around my head since high school.
Amazing.
So uh, it is the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse
Yep.
and the Antichrist. That is the five. And the Four Horsemen and the Antichrist really, they walk around the earth and they look just like us. They have the same type of problems we have. They have the same things to get through that we have to get through. They have the same things happening to them that have happened to us.
That's interesting.
Even
That's
to the
interesting.
point to where Jesus comes down to earth to walk around a little bit more and just say, hey, just understand that I know you guys think you're lost, but you don't have to be if you don't want to be. To the four horsemen of the apocalypse and the Antichrist. Like that's how real it is. Because even sometimes I have to take a minute and say, okay, what am I doing? What am I thinking? And, there are times when I'll get a word, I believe anyway, from God or Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, bad words are just encouragements here and there. And that's the same thing that happens to them. And they're living life and they know they have to get somewhere.
Right.
Like we have somewhere to be, we have somewhere to go. And they get there and they see the other four of the five. and the book ends and the end begins. Because
it's going to be a trilogy.
Yep. When they meet, they're like, oh, now I know why. Now I know why I'm here. Yeah. And we all kind of reach that spot where it's kind of like a final yes or no. And it's like, are you going to be this person? No, I'm not. I'm going to be the different. I'm going to be someone different. Or it's like, yes, I am who I am. And you just kind of take it from there.
Yeah.
And they reach that point toward the end of the book, and it's like, okay, we're done. Let's go.
So the Four Horsemen and the Antichrist, they have a decision. They have that final kind of decision. But once they decide to go, the wrong way, they're kind of stuck in that path.
Yep. Because they have different personalities.
Yeah.
And I'll just start with the Antichrist. The Antichrist is a 17-year-old kid from Minnesota who
That's kind of terrifying. Because it's just some random kid.
Yeah, and he is adopted by a Lutheran pastor and his wife. So everything that happens to him, he's fighting it the whole time, his whole childhood, his whole teenage years. He's fighting everything that he leans toward because he leans toward the dark. He leans toward the bad. And constantly he's trying to right himself. And in doing so, he entangles himself more into the darkness. Trying to fight his way out of it, it gets worse. And I kind of...
I like that because I've never really thought of it, from the Antichrist side, that he also may have been struggling with what was coming and what was happening.
Sure.
And he just couldn't get out of it.
And this is a whole chapter to its own. He has a birthmark on his left shoulder, on the back of his left shoulder, so he can't see it. But the birthmark is almost a perfect inverted cross, but he can't see it.
He can't see it.
Other people see it. So other people, they kind of determine who he is by that birthmark. He can't help that he got it. He was born with it. And he doesn't know that, the devil may have had his input on it in the end.
Right.
So he has to walk around with something he had no idea he had. But, his father, his adopted father, the Lutheran priest, takes him to the hospital, takes him to a dermatologist just to find out what happened. And it's like, even the doctors are like, we have no idea. But it was like a marker. It was a distinction.
Yeah.
Different than anybody else had to carry. But it was his job to carry it. So
I love that, man.
He becomes special in a way. But he has always been different. He's always been looking for a way for that inverted cross not to mean who he is or who he's going to be. But eventually he really has no other choice but to accept it.
Amazing. Yeah. So did you grow up in the church?
Well, my father was a preacher.
I thought so. I thought we had because my grandfather was a Baptist minister. What denomination were you? Or what was he? What was his denomination?
He was a Baptist minister.
I thought we'd had that conversation because my grandfather was as well. Yeah.
And I have to tell you that I was very sick in 2017.
Yep.
And I was in a medically induced coma for an entire month.
Wow.
My lungs were full of blood clots. If one of those would have busted or broken free, I would have been dead.
Oh yeah, those are
I
dangerous.
I had 20% lung capacity because the other 80% were blood clots. I had hundreds
Oh my
of blood
gosh, man! How did they just put you on thinners? How'd they get rid of those?
pretty much.
Is
Yep,
that
that's the
is
only
that
choice.
is something associated with that? Is that what caused the stroke later?
Yes, yes, actually it was. And I've been fighting that since 2017. But like the medically induced coma at the end of August of 17, I woke up. I woke up through the coma. And everyone was like, "What are you doing awake?" Everyone
Like, I'm ready to get out of here.
I did actually. I walked after I woke up, I walked about 5 hours after, but my tubes that were feeding me, allowing me to breathe and stuff, wouldn't let me move basically anywhere from the bed. I stood up on the side of the bed and took one small step.
Yeah.
That's all I could do because of the things that were binding me. But so I got up and I was ready to go. And it was 16 hours after I was up, I walked around the nurse's station.
Wow.
Like I was, and I guess I still am in a lot of ways, a walking miracle. I
Yeah.
was not supposed to do what I did.
Well,
And I
apparently
did.
you were supposed to write this book. So we're trying to keep
So,
you around.
and I was done with the book in, I believe, about a week. I
That,
wrote the
I
entire
mean, I
thing
haven't
in
written the book,
like,
but that seems incredibly fast.
and that's the way it started coming out of me. Like I was done with the other two books in 3 weeks. Like it all just came
Well,
out. And
so
like,
you just released this the first one, Convergence.
yeah,
What's the plan for
tomorrow
the
will
other two? How much are you
be
spacing them out?
um I'm I want to make enough money off of the meeting of the five to release the second book.
Yeah.
Whenever I get that much money is whenever it will get published.
Oh,
Because
okay. Well, that's a challenge to us to make sure that you get enough quickly to get that book out.
yeah,
Because I
kind of.
told you I'm almost done with the first one. I'm going to be ready for the second one. I got to get that out.
Absolutely. I on my part, it's done. Like I could send you the Google Doc and let you read it. You know
Could
what I
you
mean? Like it's done and over.
could you give George Martin a call?
No,
I mean,
because
maybe you
I
could call and offer to help him out because it's been 13 years.
and like really the show. I liked about 5 seasons of the show, and then it went in the toilet. If you ask me.
Well,
So
once they passed George Martin, like once they passed what he had written, it got bad fast. I think.
yeah, it did. It really, really
Because you could
did.
tell, because you had like Tyrion, he had these amazing speeches, and then like the last couple seasons, he hardly talked. It's because George wasn't
Yeah,
writing them anymore.
yeah, so crazy. And like, I don't want to be that. I don't want
Well, you've already
that to
beat that. You've got
be.
3 ready.
And then honestly, I have another trilogy written and ready to go. And I have probably a season and a half Mom's TV show.
I know. And yeah, we got to talk about that one That one
My
too, because that's pretty exciting. Like when you sit down to write, do you have a
yeah.
routine, or is it just a thought pops in your head and you just get it out?
And that will happen during the day. And I know that, like, I'm going to be completely free at night. I love my wife with all my heart, don't get me wrong,
Sure.
but she's going to go to bed.
Right.
She's going to go to bed earlier rather than later.
Yeah.
And, when she goes to bed, I'll sit down in my recliner. And I have already worked because the next day I read what I wrote the night before.
Yeah.
So then I catch myself up and I know where everybody is. Okay, well, I'll do this tonight. And I set out to make that come true. And so the next day sets me up for that night and what I'm going to write. Or like, I get to a point in the book to where it's like, okay, it's done. I can't really say anything else.
Right.
Like in the meeting of the five, like it gets to a point where it's like, okay, there's the four horsemen, there's the Antichrist. There's really no one to stop them or work against them.
Right.
So I come up with this secret society and I called it the Vigil. And they're basically the people who are ordained to go against the four horsemen. Don't know how they're going to do it. Don't know really why they're going to do it, other than like they have to be stopped in some way.
Right.
So I write about the Vigil. The Vigil becomes the most important characters of the second book. So the second book is called The Vigil, A New Dawn, because all their other dawns had been dominated by the Four Horsemen and the Antichrist. And they kind of, sort of, at the end of book one, made a difference. And so in book two, they're energized and they have purpose and they're working toward a conclusion that everyone can live with, that it's not just going to be everybody gets mowed down and like everybody gets separated. They'll go to heaven, they'll go to hell, and that's that. I mean, it's more of a personal journey.
Right. Yeah, I like that. I like that you're taking these figures and you're actually making them relatable. You're giving them personality and wants and needs, and that's
my
interesting.
whole life. All I've done is try to find motivation for what I was working toward. Forever, it was whatever woman was in my life. And I'm sorry, but they were normally just disappointing. Yeah. So then it became my son, Preston. I love that guy with everything I am.
Me and Emily are big Preston fans.
And he is big Wall fans. He constantly, like when we talk, he will ask, "Have you spoken to Mike? How is Emily?"
Oh, that's great.
That's the way our conversations go. When he came to sit with me at work, when we were working together, and Emily worked there too. When he came to hang out with me, I had walked away and went to another department for a second just to ask a couple questions. When I came back, he was gone. And I'm like, where did he go? He could barely walk at the time, but he was in your wife's office hanging out with her and enjoying himself. He didn't want to leave. I picked him up to take him back to my desk, and he kept reaching for her. So I let him stay and hang out with her.
I don't blame him. He's got good taste.
It wasn't like that, thank God. I think he was 2.
Oh, that's terrific. That's terrific. Hey, So as you're writing, do you go up into Revelations? Do you get up in, does the story go far enough where it actually gets into Revelations?
I do quote the Bible at parts.
Yeah.
And because, like, I can quote you book, verse, and chapter. I can't do that.
Right.
I'm not that educated in Bible that I can do that. But I did research the Bible so that it had ties to what I wrote, because I don't want people to not have anywhere to go. They just read a chapter and they're like, I have no idea what this guy is talking about. And that be that.
Yeah. That's smart.
There's always an option to go look up what I've written and see the attachments that I have to what might ultimately be everybody's real life. It's cathartic for me. It has helped me along by writing these books. It has allowed me to say so many awesome things and it really all comes back to my mom. I lost my mom in 2010, so it's been a while. But she was brutally honest with me.
Yeah.
She never tried to make me feel good about myself if I was doing something wrong. Look, I want to tell you, I don't know. But she would say, I don't know how this is going to turn out, but it's not going to be good. And
moms just know.
Yeah, it's like, okay. And I understood where she was coming from. She was so amazing. So there's part of her in everything I write. And in fact, I wrote a TV show that I still have kind of hidden away about a diner.
Yeah. Tell me about that one, because that sounds, you could get that made, I think. But yeah, go ahead. Tell us about
it. It's called Heaven's Edge Diner. Yeah. And it's basically a diner that sits right outside of the pearly gates. And anybody going into the pearly gates to get judged normally goes into the diner, because it's surprising to have a diner outside heaven. And they walk in and there's my mom. And again, she's brutally honest with them, but she's always sweet. She's always nurturing. She's always trying to bring about a good ending.
Yeah.
And, like, everything cool happens there because of her.
Yeah.
And in fact, she'll have angels come into the diner just to hang with her. Jesus will come in the diner just to talk to mom, because that's how important she was when she got there.
So is it like, if that got made in a TV show, would you call it a drama? Is there some comedy in it? What kind of genre?
There is definitely some comedy.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. This would be like the perfect place for some humor.
Absolutely. And there's some parts where people will cry. Yeah. There's parts where people will cry from laughing so hard. And to be honest with you, have you heard of a piece of software called a Levin Reader?
No, I haven't heard of that.
You basically can put text into the software and it will read it back to you.
Oh, okay.
Just as you entered it, it will read it back to you. There are some nuances that it can't know are there, but you can have a middle-aged woman with a British accent. You could have a young kid, American, read the book. Like, there's all different types of accents, all different types of people that are reading the book or reading whatever you put into it. I thought about using that to do the podcast and just basically have that software read what I've written.
Yeah, you definitely should. You should think about a podcast. You've got so much material that I think you could easily do one.
And it was all done from like the beginning of December. All that I have done, it has been done in a very short time
That's
span.
extremely fast.
And like literally it just kept rolling around in my head, and it just kept on and kept on. And when it was done, something else would occur to me. Like when I was done with the trilogy, I wrote another trilogy that involved a diner, that the diner gives second chances.
Oh, I like
and me and Billy end up getting it from someone we had no idea was alive. It was a family member that passed on and gave us this diner that gives second chances. And so it's giving us, Billy and I, a second chance at life. And life meaning something. We still have Preston in the text, and we have Billy's daughter Chrissy in the text.
Yep.
And they're just as amazing as they are in real life. And it's
amazing.
It's really cathartic and therapeutic for me to write those books. And it has been.
Yeah, I love how creative I mean, not that you weren't creative, but I love how all of this came out in the last 6 months.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, and we talked a little bit. We're both struggling with medical stuff. I've got Parkinson's, and what I've told Emily is that since I started having trouble, it's the right side of my brain that's struggling, which affects my left side. Well, your left side of the brain is the creative side, and I have no way of knowing, but it feels like I'm more creative than I've ever been since I've had trouble.
That's so awesome.
And I think it's because I'm having to use that side of my brain more to make up for the deficiencies on the right side, if that makes any sense.
Well, the right side is motor side.
Yeah.
The right side has been very affected when it comes to me. Like, the doctors all told Billy, I don't know how he's alive. After the stroke, when I woke up, they were like,
man,
what is he doing? Like, he should be dead. And the rehab facility that I went to, which was ARH, the most awesome people I could have had at the time, because there was a lot of like, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. Get up and walk.
Right.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Tough love.
They became motivation for me. They became very good friends, like family to me. And it was, again, they became motivation. My doctor was the guy who ran that floor. He was over everyone that had motor problems, that had any type of issues along those lines. He took care of them, and he took care of me. And, in a lot of ways still does, really. I mean, he's still a doctor that I have contact with.
Yeah.
And he was the guy that was there when I had the double pneumonia and I lost all the that I had gained, went away, and he was still there. He was still motivating me. He wasn't doing anything in a way to like unmotivate me or to like yell at me for being the person I was or whatever. He was all about, hey, look, you're a good dude no matter what you are. You're a good dude. Everything's going to be fine. And it ended up being okay. It's not great, but it's okay. I'm all right. Okay.
That's inspiring, man. Good for you because it's challenging. You know, when you're struggling with your body, it's a challenge. Everything you do is a challenge. I
I
love your attitude
understand.
with it, though. You're so positive.
And like it is such a good thing to be in the midst of all of this handicap.
Yeah,
I'm writing books, one hand on a phone.
amazing.
And it is amazing. Like I get done with a book and I'm like, look at what I've done. Like there was a time in my life where I would never, ever be able to do that. And I've done it. And I've done it several times over.
I know. Now
And
you're kind of an expert at it. You've done it so many times.
yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah,
Like I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I've succeeded.
that's right.
I told Amazon this because Amazon's basically the people who have published the book,
Yeah,
gotten the different numbers it needs and stuff like that.
yeah,
And I told them, I'm not afraid to succeed because I'm not afraid to fail.
that's right.
I
Yeah.
know so often that I'm not afraid to succeed. What? You're going to give me a ton of money? Thank you. I'll take it. You know, it's cool.
I mean, if you force me to, I guess I'll take it.
Oh, you mean I'm going to buy my wife a car? Okay, sorry. I'll take it. It's good.
Well,
She
so
really
tell me,
wants
you
a
know,
car too.
as a first time author, what was it
Yep.
like to actually get your book published? Like the day
Uh,
of.
I went on Amazon and I designed the book cover.
Oh,
So I went on I went on Amazon and I saw the book as available. You can buy it in paperback or you can buy it in like ebook.
yeah.
And I yelled at Billy. I was like, it's on here, it's on here. I was going crazy. If I could jump up and down, I would have, but I can't. So I just looked like a handicapped guy going crazy on the bed. But like it was so awesome to have. And like it's going as well on Barnes and Noble. So it's
Oh,
like
amazing.
looking on the Barnes and Noble website for it all the time. It's a great place to be. And then it's like, how many did I sell today? And being so happy that I had sold two in one day. It was so awesome to have just anybody, you know. So now I submitted the book to Kindle to have Kindle put it on Kindle
Good.
to
Yeah.
where people could read it or listen to it for free. And they accepted it. Like there were like publicists who I talked to,
Yeah.
but they tried to charge me way too much money. I don't have tens of thousands of dollars just to pay someone to get the book sold and stuff. So, but I had people tell me, there were even people I trusted say, this is one of the best books of all time. Like, not even just comparing me to Stephen King, but comparing me to everybody. They would say, this book is top 5 all time.
That's amazing, man. Well, I've really enjoyed it. Your writing, you're very descriptive. You do a really good job with action. You make it suspenseful. You know, your character interaction's really good, and the dialogue's really good. I'm amazed, man. I mean, I'm not surprised because I've worked with you. I know how brilliant you are, but it's still
Thank
amazing.
you. I
All
appreciate
the
that.
stuff you came through, man. Unbelievable.
Um, and it's something now that is an example I leave. It's an example for Chrissy. It's an example for her kids. It's an example for Preston. It's, you know, Preston now can look at it. He said, that's how much you love me. And with him being my son, I was like, you're absolutely right. That's how much I love you more than that. And because I want him to be able to take it and use it. Like if he wants to get creative, he can do that. He can do whatever he wants to do, and he's going to be just fine in doing it. And hopefully now I will be able to leave him some money.
Well, so the book is The Meeting of the Five, Convergence, and it's out now. You can get on Barnes & Noble and Amazon both. Everybody should go out and give it a look and a read. It's excellent. I think I'm right at the end of it, and I've been saving it because I like to read right before I go to bed. So I've been saving the ending so I can read it tonight. But yeah, but man, it is inspiring that you're able to do something like that with one hand on a cell phone. That just amazes me. Good for you.
I appreciate you so much for all the good words and kind words. I work very hard to do what's been done. But I mean, again, I have to tell you, it's been fun.
Yeah.
It has not been hard work at all. I mean, it's reading it the next thing to find all the typos and like grammar errors and just saying, oh my God, this is really good. And I wrote this. And it's so awesome to be able to do something that I myself can enjoy.
That's right. Well, I'm so happy for you, man. So before I let you go, and I think we need to make this a trilogy. You got 2 more books coming out, so that's at least 2 more interviews we got to do.
Absolutely. That's no problem at all. As soon as we get the money, which everybody needs to go buy the book, so I have the money.
Right.
But when
it's on us to help fund that second book.
Absolutely. The second book will be out just as soon as I can get it out.
Yeah.
Amazon now knows everything about me. So, I mean, it'll be a quick process, I'm sure.
Yeah.
The publishing end of Amazon is called Publishing Mojo. I got a lot of mojo. That's all I got to say. Like, they even said their review board was like, this is the best we've ever read. And it was ever. Like, it was any book they'd ever read.
Yeah, amazing. Everybody needs to check this one out.
Sure, I was so happy I was able to do that. And again, if you're a Kindle member, you can get it for free and then buy it.
That's right.
So
we want you to read it. We also want you to buy it, though.
No, absolutely. You probably need to buy
it. Well, before we wrap up, David, go through your website, all your social media.
Well, I will be honest in the fact that I write under the name David Hunt.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. That's your pen name, David Hunt.
Yep. So that's my pen name. You can just search David Hunt on Amazon. You can search that on Barnes & Noble.
I did that before I got on here. It comes right up.
Absolutely. You can do that on Facebook. You can do that on Instagram. It's really cool to be able to like talk to people and associate.
Yeah.
If you want to leave me a comment, leave it. It's cool. I will get back to you.
I know you'll get back with them. Yeah, they should, because you're very interactive.
I love to be able to talk about it. It's not even really my job. It's more like my duty. That's why I'm here. I'm here to relate. I'm here to write stuff that people can say, you know what? That helped. It didn't speak to me exactly, but it still helped. That would be absolutely awesome for me.
Yeah. That's terrific. Well, David, Open invitation. You just tell me when you're ready, and we'll do part 2.
I really promise. And I'm telling you, book 2, I just want to tell you, it's as good as book 1.
I'm kind of excited about it. Now you told me about the Secret Society. I'm pretty excited about it.
Absolutely. I cannot wait for it. And in fact, there's a couple characters in the second book, toward the end of the second book, that are me and my wife characterized in the book.
I love it.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I would totally do that if I could write.
Her character is 10 times what I am. So,
well, of course, of course. We know who's the best in this relationship. It's the same as in mine. It's not us. And we're just hanging on for dear life.
I'm okay with saying she's better. It's cool.
That's right. All right, David. Hold on 1 second. I'm a big fan of David's. Talented guy. He was a terrific worker. We worked together a couple different times. Always one of my favorite people in the call center. Just a really, really good guy. And he's overcoming a lot of adversity. The book's just excellent. So please do yourself a favor and check that out. It's out there now. It's worth your time, and it's going for a great cause, because it's going to help David just keep on writing. So let's do that. Thank you guys for tuning in with us. If you're finding us for the first time, happy that you're here. Love to have your support. It's easy to do. It's free. We don't ask for any money. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Please subscribe. Really helps us out. Our website is meistercon.com. You can find right now about 950 episodes, if you can believe that. Audio and video, both are available on the website. If we're doing something in studio or going on location, covering a convention, it'll be on the website. Let's try that again, meistercon.com. So please check us out there. Till next time, thank you guys so much. Bye, everybody.